So here we're going to use Descartes' rule of signs to determine the possible numbers of positive and negative real zeros. Okay, so let's look at the positive ones. So we're counting sign changes in the function. It's negative, negative, no sign change. So when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about the coefficients here. So it's negative coefficient, negative coefficient. But now it's a positive coefficient, one sign change. Now I've got positive going to negative, another sign change. Then I've got negative going to negative, still negative, so no change. Okay, so there are either 2 or 0 positive real zeros, okay? Remember, you always count down by 2's. Okay, now to do the negative case, we have to change the function. We have to say f of negative x is equal to the opposite of negative x to the fourth minus 3 times negative x cubed plus 6 times negative x squared minus 4 times negative x minus 12. I'm just writing them all out so you can see it. But if it's got an even exponent, then it's going to stay negative x to the fourth. The next one's odd, so it's going to change to 3x cubed. The next one is even, so it's going to be plus 6x squared. The next one's going to change to plus 4x and then minus 12. Okay? So you can think about multiplying and what that all means. Okay. Now, what about the sign changes? Negative to positive, one change. Positive, positive, no change. Positive, positive, no change. Positive, negative, another change. So there are either 2 or 0 negative. Okay, this was the positive reals, and these were the negative reals. And those were the zeros. Now, in the book they had a little chart, and it's kind of handy to look at this chart and put it all together with what it means. So they said number of positive real zeros. You might have 2 positive real zeros, right? Okay, you might have 2 negative real zeros, right? Well, if you had 2 reals and two positive reals and 2 negative reals, that's as many as you get. Now, how do I say that? Because it's 4th degree. So I've got 4 zeros at the most here. So everything has to total up to 4. So in that case, I wouldn't have any complex ones. And by complex, they mean imaginary. In fact, they shouldn't say that. They should say imaginary. They're all complex numbers. Okay, so imaginary zeros. Anyway, with an I, an imaginary part. That's a total of 4. Okay, you could have 2 positive real zeros, and maybe you don't have any negative real zeros. Then you would have 2 that have an imaginary part to it, okay? And that would give you a total of 4 zeros. Okay, so those are the possibilities for if you had 2 positive real zeros. But remember, you might have 0 positive real zeros. And then you could have 2 negative real zeros. You can't have more than 2 because that was my highest, right? And then that would give me 2 complex zeros for a total of 4. And then finally, if I had 0 positive and I had 0 negative, then all of them would have to be imaginary zeros. Okay? I don't think they like the word imaginary, but they use the word complex, but real numbers are also complex numbers. So maybe I'm just not understanding their terminology, but anyway, that's what it is.